because I want to get into how prophetic Gilbert Arenas was. So Gilbert Arenas, some years back, got in some trouble. All right, on Instagram, he posted something that's now deleted. You can't. I couldn't find it, but basically, he said something along the lines that people was trying to figure out, why aren't anybody watching the WNBA? You can see this is like 2015. This is 10 years ago almost. And Gilbert Arenas was like, look, man, nobody's watching because, most men watch basketball. And for you to get men interested in basketball and women's basketball, you got to give us something to look at. That's basically what he said. And his suggestion was, don't come out here with these big shorts on like the men. Wear some shorts, show some thigh. Right? And everyone just went off on Gilbert Arenas. Oh, you an idiot and blah, 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 and all this crazy stuff, man. I'm thinking like, look, man, I wouldn't have said that publicly, but he's got a freaking point. He's got a point, right? And if you see in the quotes on the second paragraph, he responded to all the backlash he got. He said, if you think that this is sexist 9 times out of 10, you the ugly one. And we didn't pay to come see you play anyway. Hashtag Donkey Kong. Hashtag this would be awesome. Hashtag sold out everywhere. It'd be sold out everywhere, right? Then he said, people act like I said some stuff that is just downright sexist and rude. Straight men are attracted to women, right? Men are 80% of sports viewers, right? He said. Men don't want to watch women act like men. Sexiness runs the world. If you're selling sex, men are buying. Here's the thing that was crazy. People came down real hard on Gilbert for saying that. But if you look at what's going on in the NBA now, we've got Instagram pages dedicated to WNBA baddies. And they're just putting photos, not just girls that got dope face cards. We talking about girls that got the banging body as well with the face card, right? That's good enough to play on the WNBA team. We talking about these girls Instagram. I mean, they Instagram is popping. The Skims commercial, they showing a little skin. Kim Kardashian then got involved. They putting on little bra and panties, and that's popping. Everybody saying this is dope. We're seeing how beautiful some of these girls are, and it's popping. And they're putting on all these clothes, and they're doing a whole runway model thing for their entrance. Let's see the outfits of the girls, and they're walking in, and they're dressed to kill. And we're seeing all these different varieties, girl. That it's like ice cream. They come in all different flavors, man. Like do you want, butter pecan? Do you want vanilla, French vanilla? Do you want chocolate? All these different flavors. Every flavor you want, they're coming in dressed to kill, looking good. And I want people to go back and revisit what Gilbert Arenas said and tell me what a lie was it. Is it working to push the cute girls into the front to say, look, man, we got some eye candy for y'all. If you see what the shorts are at now, you see what Angel Reese shorts are at? You see what Lexi Brown shorts are? They showing thigh. They showing thigh. You know what I mean? So they playing into that sexiness and that prettiness. Gilbert Arenas wasn't wrong, right? Which leads me to a conversation they had earlier this year, about 8 months ago, on Gil's Arena. And that was in response to Michael Porter Jr. having the kind of the same question about, man, how did the WNBA get their numbers up? And Michael Porter Jr. said, one of the things that I hate hearing men say, or anybody say, when they say that they need to lower the rim so we can see girls dunk. You got to be kidding me. Lower the rims for what? I wouldn't be excited about a dunk that's as basic as the dunks that Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell did in the 60s. Like the women, if you lower the rim, the women dunks would be primitive. And we've already seen Zion Williamson and Ja Morant type dunks. We're not going to be seeing women doing those dunks. So it's not going to be impressive no matter how low the rims is. And then now, how the heck do you shoot on a rim that's a foot or two shorter than it used to be? So no, that's never the answer to the game. So Michael Porter Jr. suggested that, but he also said some other things that kind of get Gil's Arena and Lexi Brown to respond to. But these are some things that they said, and I want to play that for you because I'm going somewhere with it.
For the NBA. The NBA would boom more if everyone felt the basketball was really being played at a high level. Now, if we got a bunch of guys scoring at a high level as they are, 70, 60s, 50s, how many ladies in the W are doing that, putting on a show?
Right.
Like Asia. She was what, 55, something like that, 57? That was the only outburst. And then you got Sabrina with the three-pointers. Those are the two things that we're looking at, like, all right, that will be entertaining. Enrique in Dallas, she shows some glass, some stuff. Point guard for the Aces is to Chelsea. She shows her thing every now and again. But at the end of the day, where's the flash and dash? And we look at Juju. We look at Caitlin.
Right.
You look at Angel.
Right.
These are girls who are in college that give an entertainment quality, but they're not in a W. So when you talk about the solution, it's like, all right, you hear a bunch of people giving their opinion on the problem. We got to figure out how you guys can deliver the solution so it can be delivered to you guys.
Right.
Because if there is no solution, it's like you got to deal with everybody keep identifying the problem.
But it's just, and I completely understand.
So what Rashad McCants is basically saying is, look, man, just figure it out. I mean, what is it? Like, we keep talking about it, but what is it? This is before the explosion of all the views they got this year. This is before they drafted his rookie class and before Caitlin Clark brought millions of fans to the WNBA. This is them before the draft when the college season is still going on, right? And you can tell it was during the college season because Gilbert Arenas couldn't even remember Caitlin Clark's name when he started speaking. You know, they were still, you hear Rashad McCants, he talked about Juju because Juju, I think she had dropped like 50 in the season as a freshman. So she had made news and stuff like that. So a lot of people weren't really even, you know what I mean? This Caitlin stuff kind of like, that's another topic. But that was Rashad McCants kind of opening this thing up. But it gets good.
Understand where you're coming from, but it's like we're getting shit on because our league is so small and so talented. Like those outbursts are hard because you have
a lot of good players.
Players on your team.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, you'll get maybe a 50 ball here, a 40 ball there, but it's hard. And we actually be D'ing up. Like right. I tell y'all that all the time. Like maybe we'll play less defense to like up the entertainment value, which I completely understand. But like the people watching got to understand when that happens, like we're getting yelled at by our coaches and all these things. So it's like, it's a cycle. And I think we're getting there. You know, we don't take as many threes as the NBA does yet. I think we're heading in that direction. I think this draft class and next year's draft class, I think they're going to make a big effort to keep these players in the league, to keep the eyes on the league. But like that has nothing to do with us.
All right, so she said some good things. She said, listen, I get what you're saying, and I understand that y'all want to see some entertainment. Y'all want to see people drop 50, 60 and stuff like that, but you got to also understand that we still play defense in the WNBA. We still play basketball the way it's supposed to be played. We still utilize the post. We still run sets. We still do all these things. We're not fun and gun. We're not close to the Harlem Globetrotters. We're not close to N1 mixtape. We're really playing real basketball the way it's supposed to be played, the way the NBA used to play it. And she's saying, look, I get it. You saying that we probably should play a little bit less defense, maybe adjust the rules a little bit to where we can't hand check or as much, or we can't play as physical, so we can get more entertainment and more points. But what she was saying is the coaches are not on that level yet. The coaches are still yelling at us for our effort. They still want maximum effort on defense. They're still, this game is still pure because it's not tainted by the outside pressure of more entertainment. When it was a very few and a small audience, it was an audience of people that really like basketball. They have to like basketball to be enjoying something that don't even have a lot of hype around it. You get what I'm saying? You ever had a small mom and pop restaurant that's not huge and not big, but you know, man, they might got the best sandwiches in there. Maybe it's a deli. Man, they got the best sandwiches in there, man. This thing is the best kept secret, right? But they don't get a lot of customers. They probably get 100 customers a day, right? But when it's 100 customers a day, it's a different feel. The owner might come down and talk to you, man. The owner might remember your order. As soon as you walk in, the number 13 today, yeah, make them this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I know all of that stuff, right? You lose some of that when everyone starts to come in, it gets a little bit tainted. It gets a little less personable, and, you know, things might change. You know what I mean? They might, I don't know, they might have to add stuff to the menu. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of stuff changed the more people you get, right? So with the WNBA, when it was just the purists that was involved in the game, they could still play a pure game. But now you start getting more casuals and more fanboys and friend girls and more people who don't really like basketball, but they're following Caitlin Clark to the league. Now you got to start compromising the integrity of the game, which they're about to speak to in a minute.
All right.
Well, because I did my research on all of it, the problem is that the WNBA girls that are in there now are too selfish to sacrifice today for the future. Mm-hmm. From day one, they handicapped American girls, right? So the American girls, if you're born in America, you have to go to college and play to a certain age, right? Overseas girls who have no following, right? You don't have an American following, but because you turn pro at an early age, because there's no high school basketball, you can come into the NBA or the WNBA at 18, 19 years old. Well, the product that has the following here has to wait. So you're sitting in college. Now think about how college basketball is. For the most part, it becomes dinosaurish, right? So for 3 years, whatever wild horse came into college basketball with their style out of high school has been whipped into a team type of player, a system player. When that system player gets into the W, she follows the rules. Mm-hmm. The problem with the W is if you don't allow the youth to come in and change the game, change it, right? You think about what I'm saying is you think about the Jujus and the Kellys and all those guys. If they come into the league right now, Taurasi them can't physically keep up with these girls, which means get the fuck out of the league already. Mm-hmm. Retire. These girls is too fast. They're moving too fast at a speed you can't keep up with. But if I get to play against another 40-year-old, because we get to sit in here at 40 years old, it is easy to play basketball then. But if I got to stick someone think about Jeff Teague when he retired.
So he get into a whole bunch of other stuff, and I'm not even going to bore y'all with that. But the key thing, what he said, that I agree with, is that you get a player who plays a certain wide open style in high school. When they get to college, if they're very good, they're going to end up at a college like UConn or somewhere where a coach is going to put them in the system around other players that's just as good as her or slightly just under her, right? When you play in a system under Gino Auriemma, they're not going to let you play a wild style of offense. And what he said is they whip all of that wildness out of you, and you become a polished player, kind of like what Dean Smith did with Michael Jordan. And what he's saying, and basically what Gino Auriemma did to Donna Taurasi, with Breanna Stewart, Maya Moore, what he's doing to Paige Buchers right now, right? These great players that play for Gino learn a system, and they get to the WNBA, and they're not playing, let me come down here and jack up this three from half court and from the logo, and because they're taught that that's bad basketball. So they play a polished brand of basketball. And what Gilbert is saying is that's not entertaining to the new fans that's following someone like Caitlin to the league. Caitlin was good, but she didn't go to a school like UConn. She did the Steph Curry route with Steph Curry. Now, the reason why Steph Curry did it, he wanted to go to a school like Duke or Carolina, but he wasn't getting recruited like that, because when I think when Davidson really came knocking on his door was probably his sophomore or junior year, and it was before he hit his last growth spurt, and it was before he really started playing really, really, really good. So he had already told Davidson he was going to come, and by the time he got this senior year, he was like, I'm not going to change my mind and go nowhere else. Davidson was here first, right? Which I kind of believe. But, I mean, he's from North Carolina, man. Ain't no way in the world he didn't want to go to Duke or North Carolina. I'm pretty sure if Coach K would have came calling, he would have went, because his brother did, right? So he went to Davidson, and when you get someone at Davidson, and then he shows you how good he is, and there's no other, like Steph Curry probably wasn't a 5-star, but by the time he got to Davidson and really started playing some ball, he was on a level of a 5-star. So what happens if you're at Davidson and you looked up on a 5-star player? The coach that took that job wasn't prepared or expecting to get someone as good as Steph at Davidson. So now you don't even have players that's on his level to equal him. So what do you end up doing? You end up playing hero ball, desperation ball. Everything revolved around Steph. Steph could get the green light and take whatever shot he wanted to, and it was very exciting to fans. Same thing with Caitlin Clark. She went to Iowa. She didn't go to UConn. There was no other Caitlin Clark level players at Iowa, and now the coach is like, it's all on you, baby. Play however you want to play. So she didn't have any handcuffs on her game. She jacking up 30 shots, 10 to 12 threes a game, can turn the ball over with reckless abandon, don't get punished for those turnovers. None of that. She led the nation in turnovers for 4 straight years. And it was okay because she didn't have a coach like Gino telling her, no, you will play in my system and this is how you will play. You either go pass that ball or, you get what I'm saying? She would be playing the way Paige is playing. But imagine if Paige went to Iowa and her coach was like, you can take whatever shot you want. She would look very similar, if not better than Caitlin Clark. So that's my point, right? So when you have that, when you have a player that does that and she gets popular by doing that, now when you bring her to the league, her fans want to continue to see that. But what Gilbert is explaining is that don't nobody in the league coach like that. So the struggle we were seeing with Caitlin probably wasn't just the defense that the girls was playing on her and that the league was more physical than what she expected. It was also Christy Size as a coach probably wasn't going to allow her to just go out here and just jack stuff up. So you couldn't get the value out of her. And then she turned into just a great passer who can hit the 3 occasionally. Not this prolific scorer who was going to average 30 in the WNBA. She's not looking like that, right? So, but Gil is saying, why the hell would you handicap that type of player? Let her play. Let the league display her as how Iowa displayed her for the NCAA so you can get more fans.
Right? At 30-something.
Right? And McCancis go finish it up.
Really is. The ultimate sacrifice that the WNBA has to make is integrity of the game and entertainment value. This is the ultimate sacrifice the NBA made. When he's talking about when Michael Jordan retired, the game changed the format that allowed players who had the abilities to be more entertaining, to bring in more seat fillers. So when you look at the WNBA, it's compared to, in my eyes, the EuroLeague. EuroLeague compared to NBA is a totally different game because they play with integrity. It's boring. It's real basketball. And real basketball is boring because you're running sets, you're talking on defense, you're doing everything
the whole shot clock.
You learn from college.
But is that real basketball?
From where we come from the foundation of it, right? Yeah. So then you look at the W, it's foundational basketball from college. So it looks like still college basketball, but it's just older women playing college basketball. It's not entertaining. So the sacrifice that needs to be made is when Juju and Caitlin and all of these other younger players come in, allow them to be more entertaining, take the fossils out of the game, which are running the fossil offenses.
In right now that are entertaining like that. They just...
But we see them. But
they're harnessed by coaches.
Yeah. So you got the sacrifice of the game.
And so much rides on if you win things, instead of just how you play and how you carry yourself. And I think once we can separate that as well, like I think more players will be more comfortable just hooping. Like, yes, you want to win. Obviously, if you're a good enough player, wins will come. But if you're out there hooping and you don't win a championship or you don't make it to the finals, like you can't be like, but that's what happens. That's what happens
in the NBA right now. How many box outs do you actually see?
None.
All right. The integrity of the game when it comes to box outs, cool. Rotations, how many rotations do you truly see happening, right? When you talk about the sacrifice that was made is we don't hold them accountable for the small things that made basketball anymore.
Right.
They let that go.
But because we're women, it's like we have to do everything the right way.
Everything,
So, but
the right way is get it done. If I got a girl that can come down, if Caitlin, right? If she comes in and jack shots, that's her game, and she comes to the W, and I say we don't play like that.
Yes.
I'm as a coach, if I'm a coach, I did a disjustice to the league itself by doing
100%.
She is famous. She is the #1-2 pick because of this style.
Yes.
If I do not adapt to this style, I ruined the game for you. Lowering the rim for dunking, you're not selling your game to NBA and dudes. It's called women's basketball. There's women out there everywhere that supports the game. So you lowering the rim to 7 foot and 6 foot, who gives a fuck what we think? My daughter's not watching the game for dunking.
Right.
She's not watching the game for this. She's watching the game for what it is because that's how she plays it. So that's your fan base. You have to.
Oh yeah, tapping to women.
So McCants and Gilbert Arenas pretty much said it. McCants said the WNBA, and he said this before Caitlin even got drafted. He said the WNBA has to do the same thing that the NBA did, and they have to sacrifice the integrity of the game for the entertainment factor. Like, we all know this. We all know they changed over from real basketball to entertainment. That's where it went, from real basketball to entertainment, right? Now, what does that mean? The media has to be on board with it. He said that we no longer grade people on a scale of real basketball anymore, because if we did, when we had these conversations in ESPN, people would talk about how bad Luka was on defense and the fact that he don't box out and nobody box out. But instead, we're just going to, pretty much reward them for recording the stat of a rebound. We know he's not a great rebounder, but we're just going to act like just because he got 7 to 8 rebounds, or he averaged 7 to 8 rebounds, we're going to celebrate that as if you were a great rebounder. So it's no longer about real basketball, the essence of the game, the integrity of the game. It's about what stat can you record and what entertainment value can you provide. And we will speak to it in such a way on ESPN that it just conditioned the masses to think that way. And the new fans are going to look at basketball through the lenses of how ESPN describe it to them. And it's a sad, sad day for that, right?